you about today, which a lot of the time we try to put to one side and say, okay, I'm not ready to think about that just yet. But actual fact, we actually do need to be thinking about it. And no, I'm not going to talk about Christmas, but I'm going to talk about a topic that's really relevant. And it is in relation to growing with the business. And this is about personal development for aspiring and excelling leaders. It's something that we feel that it's just happening organically, which it does. But really, if we want to make sure we stay relevant, resilient, and ready for the business growth that's rolling out in front of us, or the part of the growth that we want to be part of building, then this is an extremely important topic. And we can't really leave it to grow organically. We need to be really intentional about how we're actually doing that. And if we don't, what happens is people get left behind as growth happens in the business. And a lot of things can go out of sync. So I really wanted to take the time today to talk to you about this, because when we're coming into the end of the year, as we are right now, we can spend a lot of time planning for the business as we come into the end of the year. And also, of course, doing a lot of planning for the new year coming in 2024. And with all of that, we really cannot ignore what's really required in order to execute those fantastic strategies that you've developed, which is around the people and the resources. So if we don't have people at the right place, at the right level, in every regard in their development and their readiness, then those strategies are only going to be able to be executed up to a certain point, and really not going to be able to get to as far as could have been possible if we put everything out there and we got everything ready to do so. So by way of introduction, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Anne Caulfield. I'm an executive and leadership coach, and I work with individuals within and outside organizations to help those to develop their leadership, develop their skills, their own personal and professional development, so that they can grow with their careers and grow with the business and really get to a point where they're excelling and they're achieving their goals right out into the future. Because a lot of the times we might know exactly where we want to go, but we're finding it challenging to get there. And that's where I come in. I support people to really understand, okay, for each individual specifically, or for each team, what you actually need to be doing to grow yourself, grow your business, not necessarily your business, but grow your team within your business to meet the goals that you need. So how do you need to grow yourself? And as I said earlier on, this is a lot of the time something that we leave to last, when actual fact it's crucially important if we want to grow people within our business, we want to keep people within our business, if we want to attract people into our business, and also if we want to make sure that actually we are not slowing down the growth of the business because we're not ready to be there. Okay, we need to make sure that we're developing the skills to be able to step up, have that sense of positive influence and leadership within our roles. So with that being said, first of all, I suppose there's a few key points I want to share with you today. And the first one is around taking the time to actually do this work. And it doesn't have to take a huge amount of time, because once as you understand the plan and you understand what you need to do and where you need to grow and develop, either for yourself or for your team, then that plan is in place and you can just execute on that plan. So there's a few things we need to think about in order for us to, as I say, stay relevant, resilient, and ready. We need to, first of all, reflect back on what has already happened in this year in 2023, and the importance of learning from past experiences, both the successes and the failures, like things that worked really, really well and they didn't. Why did that happen? So why was that so successful? Why was that did that not work out? Something else. But all in all, we need to be able to appreciate the growth of ourselves, individuals, and teams within the business that align to the successes or the failures or whatever happened, because there's always a learning. So that is really, really key, to take the time to do that. And I know we do that more diligently in relation to reflecting on business goals, but we need to look at, okay, well, how did we show up? How did I show up as an individual? How did my team show up? Where do we excel? And did we actually celebrate that? And where do I actually need to develop? But beyond that, then it's about planning for personal growth aligned to the business goals. I work with a lot of businesses that are going through growth, and I don't think many businesses are not going through growth really, but what really happens here is we need to be able to make sure that the individuals in the team are growing with the business. How can we promote within the organization when the time comes around? How can we retain people when there's so much change happening that people can feel a huge sense of overwhelm? We want to make sure people are staying engaged. They feel that they're invested in regards to the future of the business. And emphasizing and aligning individuals' personal goals with the business goals is actually extremely important. So whether you are listening to this here today and you're watching this and you're saying, okay, well, I want to excel in my career, I want to get to the next stage, the next level of leadership. You've definitely probably heard by now, what got you here won't get you there. So remember that, think about that, because what you do need to do is you need to think about what are the skills you do need to develop as you move into the next stage of leadership, and what are the expectations of you at the next stage that maybe you feel right now you're not ready for. So there's a lot of understanding around that, but that is actually crucial, and you need to be really intentional about that. We need to be able to adapt to change as well. Right, so we can very much get stuck in a loop of being validated for what we do really, really well right now. And that's really, really good. Obviously, you're meeting the needs of the business, you're excelling in what you're doing right now, but nothing is static. The only thing that, everything is moving all of the time, right? There's always change, there's always growth, whether we like it or not, or whether we want to move with it or not, it's happening. So we always need to be looking to see, well, what's the next space I need to be going into so that I can maintain that level of satisfaction in myself, in my own growth, and also to be able to connect continuously with the growing needs of the business. Some really important conversations I'm having with individuals now, either one-to-one, as part of programs they're working with me on, or as part of teams that I'm working with teams on. Very, very interesting conversations, and it's something you definitely should make sure you're having. Again, this resilience piece that I speak about is being able to understand the importance of adaptability in the face of the changing business landscape that we find ourselves in is so, so important. So thinking about, the reason I wanted to share this with you today is because, hopefully you have time today to be able to sit back and reflect and think about this and understand, well, what actually am I doing to grow to the next phase? Am I getting stuck in the whirlwind of doing all the time and getting things done, which is obviously great, but you need to also be able to have one line of view into where you're going towards and how you're developing, growing in that space. So really integrating your personal development in with the business growth that you're probably planning and working on a day-to-day basis. So some key takeaways there for you is just to take the time, understand how you've got to where you are today in even just this year alone, what's worked and why, what hasn't worked and why. Think about the growth of the business into next year. And are you staying relevant, resilient and ready for that? And honestly, if we just stay static where we are now and we think, yeah, I'm good now, then we're not ready, right? That means there's always change, there's always something new happening. But we need to be clear, because sometimes this can be quite an overwhelming conversation in that, yeah, that sounds great, but I'm not really sure what I need to be doing. That's when you need to seek the support, because in any individual who's excelling at a pace without the overwhelm and the confusion is because they are very intentional about it, because they know exactly what they need to work on. So you do need to be intentional. You don't want to be trying to do everything and develop in every area. You need to be really intentional about what's most important for you right now for your development. So if you're not really sure what I'm speaking about there, drop me a message. I can have a quick chat with you to share with you what you need to be thinking about and what that really means for your particular situation. And the last piece then is about, developing forward and how you're integrating, as I say, that personal development with the business growth, so that you're staying relevant and you're connecting where you have the most value, where you can bring the most impact, being able to articulate that so you can connect that with the future needs of the business. That's exactly, in summary, what we need to be doing all the time, continuously adapting, continuously growing, continuously realigning ourselves to know where, what I'm doing right now, the value I bring and what I want to develop is connected to the market in this particular place. But you need to be able to create that narrative for yourself before anybody else will be able to understand that for you. So this is all about understanding, connecting your value, building your personal brand, developing yourself forward. And when you do that, you're absolutely invaluable to any business that needs your expertise. but you need to be able to articulate that. You need to be able to understand that. So I'm actually going to be doing a 90-minute bootcamp workshop in a few weeks' time, which is really going to go into depth on what I'm talking about today. I've been doing this for a few years now. I decided a few years ago, I decided to actually do this for my own clients, my present and past clients. But last year, I actually opened it up to anybody who wanted to attend. So that will be coming down the tracks in the next week or two. I'll be letting you know about that. So if you don't want to miss out on that, you know, just go into my profile, click on the bell at the top to be notified of my posts. And you will get on the invite there. There will be a limited number because I like to make it interactive. There will be quite a big number because it's quite popular, but do get in there early because I will be essentially allowing you to have a 90-minute block for you to actually do this work. Because as you know, a lot of the time we make great promises to ourselves to do this, but we never get around to doing it. So I'll be doing that in a few weeks' time. I will be sending out invites to do that in the next probably 2 weeks or so. If you'd like to be part of that, I will be presenting you a workbook that will help you to work through it, that you'll have to take away afterwards that you can develop further. But it is going to be where I'm really going to be asking you incisive questions to really break through what you need to be thinking about as you go forward and plan into 2024, so that when you hit the ground running in January, you're ready to go. You're not arriving at the 10th of January, buried in emails after Christmas and really feeling like you're already in the back foot. So if that's of interest to you, drop me a message and I can make sure you're on the list to get that, or alternatively, just go into my profile, click the bell on the top and get notified of my posts, and you'll be able to find it and make sure that you get notified of it at that stage. So that's pretty much all I have for you today. If you have any questions on anything I've shared, as always, don't hesitate to comment below. I'd love to answer your questions. Also drop me a message as well. I'd love to answer your questions there, or any comments you'd like to share on your experience of what you're going through right now as you plan to the end of the year, going into the new year. I'd love to hear that in the comments. So please do share that with me as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll chat to you all very soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care.